President TrumpDonald John TrumpHouse Democrat slams Donald Trump Jr. for serious case of amnesia after testimony. Skier Lindsey Vonn I don't want to represent Trump at Olympics. Poll 4 in 10 Republicans think senior Trump advisors had improper dealings with Russia. Moore has seized on recent mistakes by two top news networks as evidence to support his fake news claims. Recent errors by CNN and ABC News offered a major blow to media outlets that have come under criticism for inaccurate reports about the president and his campaign. Did you see all of the correction the media has been making? Trump said at a rally in Florida on Friday night, in which he ripped both outlets. They've been doing that all year. They never apologize. Maybe that comes with being the president, I don't know. Trump and his allies were quick to seize on media errors this week, in particular an inaccurate CNN report that tied the Trump campaign to a WikiLeaks and an erroneous ABC report that said Trump directed collusion with Russia before he was elected. After Trump spent the last 2 days publicly reiterating the network's mistakes, observers are saying making these kinds of errors are akin to the media handing a weapon to critics. This is exactly what Trump and his allies want to say. No matter what you hear on main media, it's fake. They're doing it to hurt us, reporter Jeff Greenfield said last week on CNN, after the ABC News mistake. And this is like handing a sword to the people who want all media to be looked at in that regard, he continued. One Fox News contributor asked, has there been an actual bigger screw-up in media this year than what ABC Brian Ross did yesterday? Has there been an actual bigger screw-up in media this year than what ABC Brian Ross did yesterday? Stephen Miller at Redstees, December 2, 2017. Trump at the rally on Friday night took aim at ABC News' Brian Ross, who last weekend was suspended from the network for 4 weeks without pay after he reported, incorrectly, that Trump had directed former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn during the campaign to make contact with Russian officials. His report, which was made on air, was later updated to reflect that his source said Trump directed Flynn to contact Russian officials after he was elected. They took this fraudster from ABC, they suspended for a month. They should have fired him for what he wrote. He drove the stock market down 350 points in minutes, the president said Friday. I said to everybody, get yourself a lawyer and sue ABC News. Break ABC has suspended at Brian Ross for 4 weeks without pay for going to air with an accurate story that said candidate Trump instead of President-elect Trump had told Flynn to contact the Russians. Picked out Twitter.com Yangsgine, Oliver Darcy at Oliver Darcy, December 2, 2017. Trump at his rally then turned his ire toward his familiar foe CNN for issuing a correction on a story regarding the Russia probe earlier on Friday. Oh, thank you, CNN. Thank you so much. You should have been apologizing for the last 2 years, Trump said to laughter and cheers in the audience. The comments came after CNN corrected a Friday morning regarding documents Donald Trump Jr. received from WikiLeaks. The original CNN report posted Friday claimed Trump's eldest son received an email offering at WikiLeaks documents containing Democratic information on Sept. 4, before WikiLeaks had made the cache public. CNN later corrected the report to say the email was sent on Sept. 14, after the documents had already been made public. CNN's initial reporting of the date on an email sent to members of the Trump campaign about WikiLeaks documents, which was confirmed by two sources to CNN, was incorrect. We have updated our story to include the correct date, and present the proper context for the timing of email. CNN Communications at CNN PR December 8, 2017. Unlike Ross at ABC News, CNN announced that the reporters behind the story, Manu Raju and Jeremy Erb, followed the organization's editorial guidelines. The network does not plan to discipline them. Trump in his comments fanned the flames of what had already become a controversy among critics and members of the media as well. Between this and Brian Ross Flynn mistake, the main media is doing a great job of bolstering Trump's claims about fake news, former New Yorker columnist James Surowiecki said on Twitter. It's the most obvious thing to say, but reporters need to slow down. Being right is more important than being first, he continued. Not good news for Brian Ross that his ABC colleague is tweeting this. It's also true. Pic.twitter.com 1 ons 5 SRZO, Josh R. Elliott Yashar, December 2, 2017. With focus on dates, WAPO seems to have disproved fundamental element of CNN piece on WikiLeaks email sent to Don Jr. in September 2016. https://co8qf6p9a3vd. David Fokenflick at David Fokenflick, December 8, 2017. The president continued to hit CNN for the error on Saturday, accusing the network on Twitter of making a vicious and purposeful mistake. Fake news. CNN made a vicious and purposeful mistake yesterday. They were caught red-handed, just like lonely Brian Ross at ABC News, who should be immediately fired for his mistake. Watch to see if it's CNN fires those responsible, or was it just gross incompetence. Donald J. Trump at Real Donald Trump December 9, 2017. Adding to the criticism, White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders also took an opportunity to hit CNN after the network mixed up a White House aide with a former Obama aide. At CNN, this is definitely not at Rajsha45, but it is fake news. Pic.twitter.com's 9QBNDBWO. Sarah Sanders at Pressic December 9, 2017. CNN anchor Anderson Cooper responded, saying, "We regret the error. It was a tough week for the network, which recently launched a facts-first advertising campaign." CNN has also called the Trump administration out on numerous occasions for its attacks on the media. Other outlets, including Bloomberg and The Wall Street Journal, also found themselves facing scrutiny this week after they inaccurately reported that special counsel Robert Mueller had sent a subpoena to Deutsche Bank requesting Trump's financial records. But Trump tends to direct the majority of his public ire at cable news networks. While the president took aim at CNN and ABC for their corrections, he did not mention a Fox News correction regarding one of Alabama Senate candidate Roy Moore's accusers. Fox News issued a correction on Saturday after they initially reported that Beverly Young Nelson had forged Moore's entry in her high school yearbook. That read: "An update to this story reflects that Beverly Young Nelson admits writing what ABC News characterized as notes beneath what she says is Roy Moore's signature, and that the only notes below the signature are the date and location." Furthermore, the headline on the story now specifies that Nelson admits to writing part of the inscription herself, rather than forging part of it. In the midst of an error-filled week for media, New York Times reporter Peter Baker emphasized how important it is for journalists to be right in the age of Trump. "Even small mistakes are used to undercut the entire credibility of the press," Baker said, speaking at a Poynter Institute event this week. "Less than whispers greater than the CNN screw-up is worse than the Brian Ross screw-up." Chuck Ross at Chuckress DC December 8, 2017. Here's CNN correcting its story on air for the first time. Ed McRaju explicitly says two sources who saw the email told him the wrong date on that document. How could that happen innocently? Two sources getting the same date wrong in the same way. https://t.cody9 Jamawonk, Glenn Greenwald at Greenwald December 8, 2017. Looks like CNN's got a banana on its hands. https://t.count2yanvam, Alan Smith at @Carl_Smith December 8, 2017. I'm confident every large news organization had a come-to-Jesus meeting after the ABC News Brian Ross debacle. Steffers, expect another one next week in the aftermath of the CNN trainwreck. Tajnet at Tajnet December 9, 2017. So CNN misreported the date of the WikiLeaks email that Donald Trump Jr. received, meaning that the entire point of the story, that the campaign might have gotten advance warning of the leaks, is wrong. Wow. https://t.kawangzak, Sarah Westwood at Sarah Westwood December 8, 2017. We have two fact-checkers in the Washington Bureau, one on Trump and one who fact-checks us. We cannot afford to get anything wrong, says at Peter Baker. Net at Poynter Ethics Summit, Scott Nover at Scott Nover December 4, 2017.